Hey, welcome back to the Big Rant Show as always. Thank you for joining me. If you could, hit the subscribe button down below and let's get right to it. Now, I don't have a lot for you, just two little stories that I thought were rather interesting. There's some other topics going on, but I think the media seems to be covering it pretty well. And these two topics just seemed to catch me, and I thought maybe I could shed a little light on them here. I don't know what I'll be doing tomorrow, but there'll probably be some discussion over the State of the Union if I even have the chance to watch it. But let's get going, I guess. First off, I've really been trying to cut down on my Donald Trump stories. One, no one's watching them. And two, I'm just tired of talking about the son of a bitch. But these are two topics, both involving Donald Trump. And it could be the last ones we do for a while unless he says something completely insane during the State of the Union. So let's get right to it. Now, the Department of Justice under Donald Trump have been trying a case at the Supreme Court. The case involves a woman from Serbia who was deported because she falsified some insignificant thing like a nickname or something on her original documentation. After she turned in the documentation, apparently she didn't put a nickname down or something. She omitted that, and they're calling that an infraction good enough to get her completely deported. Of course, that's the opposite is going on from the other side, saying that, this is just an insignificant thing and she shouldn't have been deported for it. Even John Roberts, Chief Justice, said that, you're asking, basically, that if I was speeding 60 miles an hour in a 55 mile an hour zone, long time ago, and before, and the statute of limitations had run out and all that stuff, you're telling me I should still be able to be deported? And the attorney for the Justice Department said yes. And, and to sum up his entire answer, the answer was yes. That something as simple like that should get you deported, or you should lose your citizenship, even if you've been approved over something insignificant. And that's insane. If you misrepresent one thing, if it's something as stupid as a nickname and you either leave it out or whatever, so you don't think it's important, you shouldn't get deported for that 20 years later. That's just dumb. Because it's not something you're doing on purpose most of the time. Now, if you falsify something big like, say it's asking you if you're a criminal or a murderer. Say it asked you if you were a murderer and you said no, and they find out later that you did murder somebody, whatever country you're coming from. Yeah, deport your ass. But over something insignificant, like a nickname, that's dumb. That is one of the dumbest things I've heard in a long freaking time. Now, what's interesting is this case, it's about this woman in Serbia, or got deported back to Serbia, but guess who else falsified documents to live in this country, or misrepresented what they were doing? Melania Trump in 1996. She worked under a visitor visa, which is under that particular visa she had, according to the New York Times, and also reported by Slate, she wasn't allowed to work. It was a visitor visa, not a work visa, and she did modeling work within the U.S. Therefore, she violated the law, and she should be deported immediately. That's what they're arguing. That's what the Trump administration is arguing. Is that someone that has falsified or broken the law should be deported immediately. So here's the deal. If this is the course that Donald Trump wants to take, deport Melania. Do it right now. Do it immediately. I want to see her gone at the end of the week. I have nothing against her. I think she's doing the best she can with what she's got. I don't blame her for her husband being a complete jackass. But it's only fair that if this woman's going to get deported because she falsified or omitted a nickname, then by George, Melania Trump should be gone. It's just fair. That's just how it goes. So, Mr. Trump, you can't be sitting there having your cake and eating it too. You know, there was a guy in history that convinced people to hate other people who were just like him. So, I suggest you change course. Or else your wife should have to be deported. And that's it. She shouldn't be allowed back or anything. Now, the next story I have for you is a little bit more intriguing to me, I think. It's more hard-hitting in a way, but it's not really that hard-hitting. It's just rather shocking. I guess I shouldn't be shocked. But yesterday was the deadline for Donald Trump to place sanctions on Russia that were proven or supported by both chambers of Congress and both parties in both chambers in Congress. These were sanctions not connected to collusion or Robert Mueller or any of that bullshit that's going on. Like I've said before, I don't truly believe, as at this point, that there was collusion. But this is about the Russian interference in our elections. I'm not going to sit here, I can't sit here and say, because I don't have the evidence before me, I don't have any evidence showing that Donald Trump himself colluded with Russia to get himself elected. I don't have any evidence for that. Could it have happened? Sure. I haven't found anything yet. Now, this whole thing, though, is about Russian interference in our elections. It is obvious that Russia interfered in our elections. We have evidence to prove that. It's an evidence-based fact that Russia, in fact, interfered in our elections by creating false Facebook pages, putting out false ads on Facebook, Twitter, things like that, and even as far as trying to hack into our voting system. Now, according to the FBI, there was no success there. Russia was not successful in compromising our voting machines. But the fact is, we have proof that they tried. You had officials in Russia the day after the election admitting that they tried to swing the election. So there is no doubt in my mind, or on basis of fact, that Russia interfered in the 2016 elections. The fact is, though, that Donald Trump is refusing to hit them with the sanctions that our Congress approved. Donald Trump, you are obviously bought. Because no president that I could think of would sit there and not hit these sanctions on Russia for interfering in our election, unless you owe that, people in Russia something. Now Vladimir Putin's saying we're interfering in his elections because he's got people that are speaking up against him. Well, guess what, Mr. Putin? If we are, turnabout's fair play, bitch. But at the end of the day, Donald Trump is basically just a yes man for Vladimir Putin. That's all it is. He is proving it right here by not putting these sanctions on them. He is scared of retaliation from Vladimir Putin. And maybe there's something there. Maybe he's concerned that Vladimir Putin will come up and be like, well, I helped you get elected, and now you're gonna hurt me. You're gonna support sanctions against me, and he's probably scared that somebody in Russia is gonna drop a bunch of dirt, maybe not on him, but on his family, and people like Manafort and stuff like that. But anyhow, that's what's going on. The Trump DOJ is trying to keep people out that have falsified insignificant details such as nicknames on paperwork or omitted nicknames on paperwork, which should mean that Melania should get deported. And He's refusing to slap sanctions on Russia, who in fact interfered in our elections in 2016. And they clearly interfered in them to help one person win over the other. And I'm not blaming Donald Trump on that one, on what they did, but I am blaming him for not hitting them with the sanctions that they deserve to be hit with. Congratulations to the Congress for actually putting a bipartisan bill together to send to the president, or sanctions to send to the president. Congratulations on doing your job for the first time in years. And this is old news. This is from back before he even passed the tax cuts. But this was a bipartisan effort, based on fact. Anyhow, y'all have a great day. I'll see you down the road. And I hope y'all's weather's doing really good. I hear there's some really cold weather coming in the end of the week. So y'all have a great time as it's warm for the next few days, and get ready for the next freeze. Y'all have a great day.